Whiskey's live Wednesday evening broadcasts. Good to see you all. What's the time? It's 7 o'clock here in the UK, of course, and it is the 22nd of April. So good to see you. Getting lighter and lighter actually as we're doing these. So just sort of 3 or 4 weeks ago, when we started doing these, I think it was still dark outside, and of course we got British summertime. And the year is moving on, so we're in beautiful daylight, actually still sunlight outside as we start. But remember, if you're joining us, say hi, let us know what's going on. Let me tell you what we have lined up for you this evening. So we have quite a cool mix with me, a cocktail later on in the broadcast, towards the end of the broadcast. Hopefully quite a few of you have got your ingredients so you can join in and we can mix that cocktail together. We are doing what is now becoming really quite popular, and that is our Whiskey Geek of the Week quiz. So I run the quiz through the broadcast, and then one of you wins, and you become our Whiskey Geek of the Week. You have your picture on the Facebook page, under the title of Whiskey Geek of the Week, something that people are very proud of now, it seems. So we've got that running as well. We've got 2 other cocktails for you, including one which is actually a sort of birthday dedication to a friend of ours. So we got our results from last week's competitions, plus got a couple of announcements for you as well. Lots of stuff on the go, but before we do anything, as you know, I'm going to say hello to a few people and we're going to have a drink together. So same decanter as last week, different whiskey. I'm going to tell you what it is, because last week we had a bit of a quiz. You had to try and work out what I was drinking. But I'm going to show you what I'm drinking this week. But let's get something on the go. Remember, tell me what you have on the go. This is what I've got. This is the Burnham Original. So obviously this is a new bottle of it. But this is a Kentucky Straight Wheat Whiskey. 7 years old. Really quite fruity actually. And smooth. I really like this one. It's sort of a surprise to me how much I enjoyed it. But would definitely recommend. But that's what I got on the go. Burnham Original. What have you got on the go? Let's see who's with us this evening. Let's say a few hellos. So Mark, how are you doing? Good to see you. Already Richard Webster, who we know is not called Richard Webster, but hey, how are you doing as well? Cheryl is with us, of course, my partner in crime. Paul Slade, nice to see you. Kieran, always great to see you. And Jane as well. Harry, great that you're not here as ever. Bruce, good evening. How are you doing? Lubka, good to see you. Actually, Lubka already posted on our Facebook page telling us that she's got the ingredients for tonight's mix with me. So I know that at least Lubka is going to be mixing along with me. Paul Musson, how are you doing? Have finally opened your Penderyn Madeira finish. Got it on the go now, I wonder. How's it looking in sunny California? Well, Jeff, it sounds like it's sunny out there. Cheryl as well. Is that Kieran? How you doing? Bob as well, good to see you. Barry's got a Tomentol on. Nice, liking that. Cat Jam. Bonjour. Back at you as well. A 23-year-old single cask Tobermory for Mark Coyle. Bob's drinking tequila today. Wow, slamming that tequila. That's good. Jane, what have we got? Is that a moustache or has lockdown got the better of you? Right, okay. I'm growing this out, right? Decided. So it looks like a moustache because this is dark. This still grows through dark, but the rest of it shows my age. So this is all grey, this is dark. It makes me look like a sort of gangster or something, I think. But hey, yeah, I'm growing it out. We're on lockdown, so yeah, why not? Why not? Peter, how you doing? Good to see you. Mary, how are you from Ireland? Kieran's got Highland Park full volume. Peter is in the house. Dave from Lincolnshire, good to see you as well. And Richie Ward, no drink today. That's not good, Richie. But I got my Burnham Original on the go, so cheers to you all. Good fun broadcast we got coming up this evening. So, I'm going to start with a little announcement, and it's slightly self-indulgent, but not entirely self-indulgent. You may have already received an email from me yesterday, but just really quickly, I just want to tell you, if you're in the UK, you'll know about this. If you're not in the UK, let me explain. We've got a lot of charity stuff on the go at the moment. There's something called the 2.6 Challenge, and the 2.6 Challenge is a big charity event which people all over the UK are doing different things to raise money, and what they're trying to do is make up for the money that has been lost to charities through the cancellation of the London Marathon. So that's where the 2 and the 6 come from, the 26 miles. So instead of people running 26 miles and raising, actually the London Marathon raises about £650 million for charity. They're asking people to do all sorts of different stunts. I am doing something for the 2.6 challenge on Sunday night. It's going to be a Facebook Live broadcast. It's not on this channel. It's not on the Dream Whiskies page. It's on one of my other pages. It's my cocktail page. And I'll send the link out to you all anyway. But essentially what I'm doing is I'm going to be running a cocktail class, but it's like a speedy cocktail class. So my 26 are this. I'm going to make 26 different cocktails for you all. I'm going to demonstrate how to make them, but I'm going to do all 26 in just 26 minutes. So 26 cocktails in 26 minutes. I'm actually trying to raise £2,600, but you don't have to donate to watch, but you can watch and donate, or you can just watch and have fun. I will send you more information about this, but if you want to know more about what I'm doing, there's a link in the description, at the bottom of the description, which takes you to our Just Giving page. That's where you donate. But if you don't want to donate, it's also where you just find out information about the broadcast. It's Sunday night, that's the 26th, so 26 cocktails, 26 minutes on the 26th. And just come along and watch and have fun. And as my wife's been saying, because we're in lockdown, we're going to have 26 cocktails, which we're going to have to drink somehow. So that's my announcement. I'm going to tell you about that before I'm done with this broadcast this evening as well. Kevin, how are you doing? Paul is on the pen. I like that pen, Darren. Barry's saying Fu Manchu. I'm not even sure what that means, Barry, but yeah, why not? Presently enjoying a Reka vodka. All right. Oh, the Reka vodka. Keith, nice. I mean, we're about whiskey here, but hey, whiskey starts off as vodka before it's aged and then becomes whiskey, I guess. Gary's on the Jura. How you doing, Clarky boy? Really nice whiskey saying Gary. That's cool. Stephen is in Texas. Cheryl is having whatever I'm making. And those of you who know, she's found a way of coming in behind the camera and pulling cocktails off the top here, which is what I'm going to do. Nikki, my sister from California. Hi, Nikki. How you doing? Kate from Indiana in the USA. Dhiren Patel from Bolton. Nice to see you. Jane, can't wait for Sunday night. Yeah, it's going to be amazing. For those of you who don't know, I used to hold world records at speed cocktail mixing. It's not going to be as fast as that, but it's going to be kind of fast. So join us. It's going to be a laugh. What else have we got here? We are crowded today. Yes, we like it like this. All right. Before we get into our cocktails and our first cocktail of the evening, and by the way, anyone out there from my locality who knows Sherry, if you're in touch with her, tell her to log on because we've got a birthday cocktail for her, but we're going to come to that in a second. We got some winners from last week. So we got our whiskey winner from last week's competition, which finished at midnight last night. New competition already on the go. Our winner of that is Alan Walton from Lancaster. You have won our whiskey competition. I bet Alan's not here. If you're here, say hi, but I haven't seen your name so far. But I'll be in touch with you officially tomorrow about that. And I'm really pleased to see this name come up. So this was the winner of our spot prize competition from last week, where we are giving away this malt whiskey t-shirt in the style of Disney. And the winner of that is Bob Lozon. Bob wins. Bob, I think you're in Canada, is that right? But Bob, you win. I will send you a little note tomorrow and we'll get the details and we get that sent off to you. We get your size, the colour that you want. But yeah, so our winners are Alan was the whiskey, Bob was the t-shirt, and this week's spot prize giveaway, which comes right at the end of this broadcast, is going to be this. It's the Malt Whiskey Companion by Michael Jackson, not Michael Jackson the singer, and a generally tarnished reputation superstar, but Michael Jackson, the guy who was known as the beer hunter and whiskey chaser. And he's not with us anymore, unfortunately, but his books are great, and so someone's going to get that this week. That's the prize for. All right, what do I have to say? So before we get into our cocktail, remember we have our Whiskey Geek of the Week competition. Not really competition, like a quiz. And so I'm going to ask this 10 questions as we go through the broadcast. I'm going to give you 3 now. You're going to need a pen, some paper to write down your answers. It's different to the ones we've done on the previous weeks. You're not guessing what whiskey I'm doing. In actual fact, you need to answer all these questions. So, if you're a whiskey geek, I'm going to give you 3 up now before we go into our first cocktail. Who else is talking to us? Peter, what you got? You got a Lafroig on the go from the Malt Man. Congratulations to Alan. Really good to see. There's somebody's tagged Sherry in this. Lots of congratulations. Bob? Bob, yes, Canada. Can't wait for the t-shirt. Brilliant. All right, loads of congratulations going on there. All right, here we go. Questions. So, do you want to be our Whiskey Geek of the Week for this week and splashed all over our Facebook page? You're going to need to answer these questions. They are all really about whiskies and whiskey distilleries. See how much you know. Question number 1. Here we go. Question number 1 is, which whiskey produces a release which is called their 14-year-old Caribbean cask, or Caribbean cask, depending on what part of the world and how you pronounce that. Who produces the 14-year-old Caribbean cask, or Caribbean cask? If you're into your whiskey, you'll know this. If you're not as into your whiskey as you thought you don't know this, you can always cheat. We don't mind if you cheat. What the hell, no one's watching, right? Phil, what's going on? What's this? I have to go. The feed is not good on this end. Phil, don't go. Just shut it down and then reopen it. See if it just sort of feeds a little bit better. Question number 2. Question number 2. Here we go. Which distillery released the experimental series, which included, among others, the Project XX or Project 20. It depends how you read it. Some people call it XX, some people call it 20. So which distillery released the experimental series, including Project XX? You should probably know that as well. I don't think these are too hard if you're a true whiskey geek. And the third question before we go into our first cocktail of the evening is this. Which whiskey was given the nickname the Beast of Dufftown by David Broom? So David Broom, sort of international whiskey god, he called this whiskey the Beast of Dufftown. Which whiskey was it? All right, here we go. Our first cocktail of the evening, and this cocktail, well look, it's a friend's birthday today. She's normally all over Facebook. I don't know where she's disappeared to today. I'm not even sure if she saw my message, but she will watch this later on, hopefully. I haven't even given this a name, but it is a fabulous whiskey drink, and it's got a real sort of smooth, fruity edge to it. It's kind of creamy, but without putting cream in it, because that's cheating, but another form of cream, actually. And this is how you make it. So, we're going to start with our cocktail shaker, the glass part of our cocktail shaker, and into that cocktail shaker I'm going to add a scoop of vanilla ice cream. Now this really does, I said it's not cream, okay, so that made you think, hey, there's not much going on there, but I don't know, now I'm thinking, whoa, my phone is talking to me. My phone, the other side, Siri, has just started talking to me for some reason. Okay, so I've got my cream, or ice cream, in there, and then I'm going to add some juice to this. This juice is an apple and mango mix, but you can do just mango. It's absolutely fine with just mango, but I've got the apple and mango mix, and I'm going to put a little bit in to start with, just to help me break down that ice cream. I just want to sort of mash it up a little bit. It's going to get broken down properly when we shake it up, but I'm just helping it on the way here. Ice cream can be a little bit tough sometimes. It depends on the quality of the ice cream. Also depends on your refrigerator as well. But now that we've got that broken down a little bit, a bit more. That's good. Let's put my spoon in there. I'm going to add some more of this mango and apple juice. And by the time I finish with the mango and apple juice, we've got around about 50 milliliters, 50 milliliters in there. Now I'm going to add some of this. Now I used this last week. This is Archer's. This is a peach schnapps, but I'm using it again because it's just great in terms of the flavour. It really punches home a lot of peachy sweetness. And I'm going to put in 25 ml, which you can see I haven't measured out, but you can trust me, it's 25 ml. And then finally, of course, because this is a whiskey cocktail, I'm going to add the whiskey. And this I am going to measure because I want to make sure I get the right amount in here. So I'm putting in 35 ml. If you want more whiskey in your version of this, just go for it. But 35 ml, and we're good. Let's pop that back up there. Remember, I'm using the Burnham Original at the moment, but you just pick your whiskey. I would say stay away from Islay whiskies, stay away from sort of peaty, smoky ones, because it doesn't work as well with this. You want something more, I don't know, rounded and sherry cask, that sort of thing. Going to add now some ice to my shaker. I'm going to pour that into my shaker, and I'm going to get my glass out ready for anyone got a name for this cocktail, by the way? So I put this together for Sherry for her birthday. Happy birthday, by the way, Sherry. But I haven't really got a name for it. So I don't know, anyone got some names? Give me some ideas for names. Going to give it a shake. Let's shake it. Remember, because there's ice cream in there, I want to make sure I shake this well. It's going to get quite thick. Here we go. All right. I think we're there. We are there. This is good. Let's just pop that in there like so. Then I'm going to take my strainer and strain into magnificent glass. And you can see it's really quite thick and also fruity. That's good. Let's just pop that on there as well. That's good. So looking pretty pretty. And what I'm going to try and do, and I'm not sure if this is going to work, by the way, I'm going to garnish it with a cherry for Sherry. But the idea is I didn't really want to put it on a cocktail stick. I can put it on a cocktail stick. What I actually want to do is I want to see if I can get this to sit on the surface. Now I'm going to tell you now, I fail with this because the drink's not as thick as I originally anticipated. It's great for drinking, but it might struggle to hold the cherry. So let's have a go. No, there it goes, straight to the bottom. So Sherry's cherry has dropped. Maybe we should call this Sherry's cherry. I don't know. Maybe that's the name of the cocktail. But it has dropped to the bottom. But there we go. This is our cocktail number one. Give me some names if you can think of some names. Jane, Siri is asking for a cocktail. Yes, Siri's asking to be switched off, actually, is what Siri's asking for. Bruce, vanilla ice cream. That in their drink. Steve, what's going on? Just finished cold juice because the kids made me a dairy. Okay, that's good. Sherry, maybe we should call it a Sherry Amore. That's nice. That's nice. That's a classy name. Vanilla Sky, Stephen. Nikki saying happy birthday. Lots of people liking the look of this. Last time I seen you use ice cream was for the Jingle Christmas cocktail, which you made and I tried and enjoyed. Wow. Paul, you sound like the other Paul, like you got a list of every cocktail that I made. Gary, Fruit Sensation. Cheryl saying watch it disappear soon. Well look, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move that just to the edge of the bar, like that, to get that out of the way. So it's mostly out of the picture. Know that someone's going to come in and try and steal that without any of you knowing that it's happening. Whiskey Ice Cream Dream, says Bruce. I tell you what, this is a good idea putting these out to you guys because it's quite difficult, I find, to come up with names of cocktails. Craig is saying it sounds lovely. The Invisible Hand, yes, is on its way. Nikki looks yum scrum. Cherry La Cherie. Great names. Maybe I should just write them all down and create new cocktails for each one of those. So, all right, that is cocktail number one. Now, when Nikki from the other side of the world, my sister, joined us for the first time last week, she let me know afterwards that she sort of enjoyed the broadcast, but found it mostly amusing that I was drinking the whole way through and by the end, completely smashed. Do any of you know whether I'm smashed or not? And maybe it's just because she's my sister that she can tell. Anyway, cheers, Nikki, and cheers the rest of you. What have you got on the go? Are you making cocktails? Are you, by the way, ready to do the mix with me towards the end of this broadcast? If you don't know what the ingredients are, it's probably going to be tough to get them together. I post them on Facebook. I also send them out by email as well beforehand. But I'm going to tell you that what I asked you to get was whiskey, obviously, of your choice. Then a fruit tea. So you can pick what you want, you know, like cranberry tea or raspberry tea, whatever, any kind of fruit tea. I told you to get some rosemary, so either fresh or dried, some honey, and a lime. So that's what we're going to use to do our Mix With Me cocktail towards the end, but not until the end of our broadcast. So let's see. Now, before we go into cocktail number two, we got some more questions for you on our whiskey of the week. So hopefully you've got 3 answers at the moment. More answers down. Jane is saying, I've seen you more Smash. Thank you, Jane, for that. Simon, you want to try drinking as much as I do during a broadcast. So Simon, as I said to you guys last week, he's one of my friends, and also we live locally, so he does a broadcast for the sort of local village, like a pub quiz broadcast. Boy, has he been smashing the whiskey during that broadcast. I mean, like so much that towards the end, no answers are coming out or anything. But nobody minds because we're all drunk by that point anyway. Okay, here we go. Question 4 about our whiskies and whiskey distilleries. I want to know which whiskey distillery produces the family cask range. They are famous actually for doing the family cask range. In actual fact, you can buy a chest with every release of the family cask in there if you have a quick £110,000 on you to spare. So for £110,000, you can buy a case with every one of those releases in. Wow. Okay, but who is it? Which whiskey distillery is it? That was question 4. Question 5. Which whiskey distillery produces the exceptional cask range? Now, if you don't know this one, you need to drink more whiskey. Or maybe you need to drink less whiskey. It's one of those two. It's one of those two. But who is it? Which whiskey distillery produces the exceptional single cask range? And if it helps, I can tell you that some of their exceptional casks go for £50,000-60,000 as well. Just for a bottle. Just for a bottle. What's going on here? Paul, what are you doing? Drinking Bushmills tonight. I'm liking the Irish stuff, actually. Haven't had an Irish whiskey on the go for a little while myself. Which Bushmills is it? Just out of interest. Cat Jam. Just loving that. You know what, Cat Jam? I don't know if your name is Cat or Jam or it, but Cat Jam is just a great name for a cocktail. I've got to come up with a cocktail. What are you saying here? My tea mix is chilling in the freezer. Fantastic. Brilliant, brilliant. Paul, I'll be mixing along tonight. Got a mixed berry tea. That's fantastic as well. So Cheryl, I don't know if you noticed. Did you notice the cocktail has gone? Gone. Here. So you might have been looking at me, but gone. She took it, has been drinking it, and has said that it's pretty good by the look of it. Happy birthday to Cherie. Jane, she nicked it. Yes, didn't see the hand. Right, okay. Question 5, question 6, before we go on to our next cocktail. Question 6 is this, and you do need to be a bit of a geek for this one, I think, but let's see how you do. Which whiskey distillery was the first to be pioneered by a woman? And that was Helen Cumming in 1811. So she was the first owner of a registered distillery in Scotland. She is the first lady. It was 1811. What was that distillery, that whiskey? Which one was it? Who knows? If you're a geek, you will know. And if you're not, you're going to have to cheat. Okay, Bruce, what are you doing there? You'll be making 2 drinks, one with a rose flower flavoured tea and another with a kiwi strawberry tea. Bruce, you're knocking the ball out of the park. Wow. Okay. Cocktail time. Another cocktail, I think. So I'm a real lover of whiskey sours. If you're a whiskey drinker, then I guess you're probably going to like whiskey sours yourself as well. And a whiskey sour is just a classic combination of whiskey, something sharp, normally lemon juice, and some sugar. And the egg white thing is an optional extra. I tend to put it in, but not everybody does. So it's whiskey, lemon, and sugar. That's what a whiskey sour is. But to make a good one, you really need to get your balance right, and it's actually quite easy to mess it up. But I've got a variation that I'm really quite excited about, and I actually can't remember whether I've done this for you before. I know I've played with this as an idea, you know, as a cocktail idea. So I might have experimented with you guys before, but hey, I'm going to be making for you now a salted caramel whiskey sour. Salted caramel whiskey sour. Simple to make. You obviously need the right ingredients, but really knockout delicious. And I'm going to put it into this glass here. By the way, got some really good news for members on these glasses, this cocktail stuff, all of this. Got some good news coming up for you. Make sure I tell you in this broadcast. If I don't, and we go to the end, just tell us, just remind me, right? Remind me that I was going to announce something and I didn't announce it. But anyway, let's put that there. Let's get that out the way. And we are going to start, as ever, with the non-alcoholic ingredient. I'm going to start with our citrus. Now, the citrus I'm going to use for this salted caramel whiskey sour is lime rather than lemon. And the reason why I'm using lime is that there is a noticeable difference between the two. So lemon for me is clearly sharper, clearly more tart in flavour. I love lemon, but for this cocktail, the lime works better. So I'm going to take my lime, just cut it in half down here on the board, and I'm going to take the juice of that whole lime, which if you were measuring it, is around about 20 to 25 ml. I've said this to you guys before. It's around about 20 to 25 ml, something like that. So that's one half. Let's get the other half in, and let's squeeze that out. I love the aroma as well. When it comes to lime, really love the aroma. Okay, good. So we got our lime juice in there. And now this is quite important, this bit, because depending on what you have is how this is going to taste. I am actually using a caramel flavoured syrup. Now, the reason why I'm using a caramel flavoured syrup is that you might not be able to get any right now, or you might not have any at home right now, but you can buy this pretty much anywhere. So whether you're going to buy it on Amazon and get it delivered, or whether the lockdown is over and you go out and get it yourself, it's easy to get because this is one of the more popular flavours for adding to coffee. So it's out there. It's not really specifically a cocktail ingredient. So you're looking for a caramel flavoured syrup. And I'm using this in place of what would have been just our sugar or our sugar syrup. So I'm going to measure this out. I want a lot of flavour from this, so I'm measuring to 15 ml. 15 ml is equal to, if you were doing teaspoons of sugar, 15 ml would be getting on for 2 teaspoons of sugar. Probably a little more in terms of the sweetness with the caramel as well. So lots of flavour, lots of sweetness, what we know. So we've got our blend now of the sweetness and the sharp, or the sweetness and the sour. And now we want it to be a salted caramel one. So I'm going to add some salt. But you've got to be real careful with this, because if you overdo it with the salt, you're going to kill the drink. The whole point about salted caramel is that you really don't even notice the salt. The moment you start noticing it, too much. So I'm just going to sprinkle some in my hand, and I'm really taking a little pinch. That is it. No more. No more. It's just going to help to release some of those sweet flavours. Salt and sweetness balance absolutely beautifully. That's all you want. If you make this taste salt, chuck it away. Chuck it away. I'm going to add some egg white. I've already taken the egg white and separated it. So I'm going to add some egg white in there. And now, of course, we need our whiskey. And because it's a whiskey sour that requires at least 50 ml of whiskey. So I'm going to add 25. There we go. And then another 25. There we go. Good. So we have all our ingredients in there. We just need some magic now. So take some ice into my shaker. Lots of ice. Turn that into the shaker. And we shake. Start. Remember, you've got egg white in there. So you want the egg white to break down. You want it to start to froth up. You don't have to put egg white in if you don't like it, or if you're vegan. But for me, I want it in there. Here we go. Let's open that. Let's take my strainer, and we're going to strain into our glass. Here we are. Nice and steady. Bring it right up, really close to the top. Just going to swirl that a little bit more, just get the last bits out of it. There we go. That's nice. And so you can see the egg white starting to settle on the surface of the drink. And what we have is this amazing salted caramel whiskey sour. And I'm going to finish it off by taking another lime and just putting a small amount of lime zest on the surface. So I'm just going to grate that on. And it looks pretty as well. I like the green on the surface, but it also adds incredible citrus aroma making that a fabulous little drink. I'm just going to bring that closer to the camera to see if you can see the lime zest on the surface. I'm just going to tip that up a little bit. Can you see that? That's good. Good. And just going to give this a taste myself, actually. Cheers. Oh, it's gorgeous. It's an absolutely gorgeous drink. It just screams salted caramel. It's undeniably sour, but that extra in there, just that sort of tweak of ingredient makes such a huge difference. If you do try it, let me know. Let me know. Jess has joined us. Welcome, Phil. Oh, chat's going on here. It's looking like breakfast in a glass. Yeah, absolutely. Egg white. See, people are really put off by egg white, but what I say to them is if you've ever had meringue, that's egg white. And what you do with meringue is you whisk it up, you chuck in some sugar, then you cook it. You've got something crunchy and white and crumbly, and you put it in desserts. So we're not cooked this, but we've done the same thing. We've added sugar to it, we've whipped it up, and it's come to the surface of the drink like a sort of head, like a froth. So it's the same thing. Bruce is saying just need some bacon. Actually, a piece of bacon with this would go perfectly. Kaz is saying it sounds lush, of course. Lubka wanting some tomatoes. What, maybe to throw at me? Who knows? Jane saying now you are talking. Right, good. Now, I'm not sure that this one is going to get stolen by my other half because she's not that keen on sour drinks. So I'm just going to keep this one a little bit closer to myself. Good. And then let's move on. So, I said something along the lines of, I have an announcement. This is an announcement for members. If you're not a member, sorry about this. But you can become a member. You just have to go to the link, go to our site, sign up, become a member. Then you get more of what we're doing and all those whiskey giveaway competitions, all that sort of thing. So you can do that. But just if you're not, just for a moment, just bear with us. So I'm introducing something new for members. I may have mentioned this last week, but honestly, I really can't remember whether I had. So you know that I now have a sponsor. It's an amazing company called Urban Bar, and they're here in the UK, and they're also in the United States as well. So, and they produce this amazing range of bar stuff that I've got here. I'm going to use some of this in a minute. Here's some mixing glasses and shakers, these decanters, an incredible range of glasses. This glass is from them, it's a number of the other glasses. I've also managed, as they're our sponsor, to negotiate with them a special deal really for our members. So if you ever decide you want to buy any of their stuff, as a member you will get 25% off. And I'm going to introduce that within the next week. I will get that information out to the members. But you get 25% off. So bearing in mind that it costs £5 a month to be a member for us, you can just sort of buy one set of glasses and get about 4 or 5 months worth of your membership back on that straight away. But I think I probably did mention it last week. I wanted to mention it again because it's a great deal and it's another little special really for our members. If you're not a member, I'm not trying to exclude you. What I'm actually trying to do is include you and get you involved in what we're doing. So we have our quiz on the go. We're still looking for our Whiskey Geek of the Week for this week. We've had 6 questions. We've got 4 more to come. What's here? Paul, not one you have shown us before, meaning the cocktail, I think you're saying. Cheryl, not for me, thanks. Talking, the drink. Yes, of course. And Jane saying you have to take the rough with the smooth, but I think that was to Cheryl as well. So, question number 7. So we've had 6 questions. Whiskey Geek of the Week. You should have the name of 6 whiskies, stroke 6 whiskey distilleries. We are now looking for questions 7, 8 and 9. So here we go, Whiskey Geeks out there. Who's it going to be? Question number 7. I want to know, which whiskey produced a 13-year-old Halloween edition in a white bottle? So which whiskey or whiskey producer or whiskey distillery produced a 13-year-old Halloween edition in a white bottle? This is a cracker. Loving this drink. I'm actually going to put it down here so that if my wife does come in out of shot camera, she can't actually reach it. So there's more than one whiskey company that produced white bottles, but there's only one that made it a 13-year-old Halloween edition. All right, question number 8. A slightly longer question here, again quite geeky. Here we go. Which single malt whiskey distillery has been mothballed 3 times? So for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, when we say mothballed, essentially we mean shut down. So which distillery has been mothballed 3 times? Once between 1911 and 1912. The second time between 1928 and 1947, that's nearly 20 years it was shut for. And then the last time between 2010 and 2013. And now, and it is a single malt whiskey distillery, and now, however, it mostly produces the whiskies for really famous blends. So it produces famous Grouse, J&B, Cutty Sark. What is that whiskey distillery? What is it? That was question number 8. What else have we got going on here? Lots of chat going on between my wife and friends. So, question number 9, before we go on to the Mix With Me cocktail. Question 9 is this. Which whiskey distillery produces the release called A'bunadh? Okay, which whiskey distillery produces a whiskey called A'bunadh? And that's spelt A''B''U''N''A''D''. A'bunadh. Which whiskey? So you should have 9 answers now. There's one more question to come, and then we will find out who our whiskey geek of the week is. You stop talking to me now as well. So if you stop talking to me, I'm going to have another drink. I'm going to tell you now that we are about to do our Mix With Me cocktail. So if you are mixing along with us, make sure you get all your bits and pieces together. For those of you that aren't or are thinking of trying to do it last minute, and I don't think you're going to be able to pull this together, but I'm just going to tell you what you need. You need a fruit tea of some kind. You need a whiskey of your choice. You need some honey, a lime, and some rosemary. And the rosemary can be fresh, like that, or it can be dry. Doesn't matter. Cheers. Give you a moment. Actually really loving that. I know I've said that already, but wow. Also, while you're getting that together, for those of you that missed it the first time around, because I made this announcement right at the beginning, there's a link in the description, which is at the bottom of the description. I am doing a charity broadcast on Sunday night. The more of you that watch, the more of you that support, the better it's going to be, obviously, for the charity, the better it's going to be for fun. I am doing, as part of what is the 2.6 challenge in the UK, I am doing a broadcast where I'm going to show you how to mix 26 different cocktails, and I'm going to do those 26 cocktails in just 26 minutes. So join us, come along. You can donate to the cause if you want, but you don't have to. I'd rather you at least come along. I don't want you to sort of stay away if you feel that, oh, you're not in a position to donate, or you don't want to donate. Doesn't matter. Just come along, watch, be part of it. You share it. Maybe you can share it with people that will want to be involved in it as well. So go for it. But bookmark that, or would you bookmark it, or just stick it in your diary? So Sunday night, 7 o'clock. That's UK time. I will be sending out the link because it's not on the Dream Whiskies Facebook page. It's on my other Facebook page, which is a sort of cocktail dedicated Facebook page, more to do with sort of cocktail training and stuff like that. So yeah, make a note of that because I want you guys along. We need your support. I need your support. Otherwise, how am I going to make 26 cocktails in just 26 minutes? All right, that's enough filling while you got your ingredient. Bruce saying I had to use dried rosemary. I have to plant some in the garden. Okay. And Nikki saying, hi, it's Miriam. I'm taking notes. Oh, hello, Miriam. How you doing? Good to see that you're making yourself useful. We like people that are going to actually be useful rather than just sit there learning how to make cocktails. Here we go. This is what we're going to do. Let me bring everything into play. So I have my tea in a requisite teapot. I have my rosemary. I've got my honey here. And where's my whiskey? My whiskey is there and my lime is here. Now the idea is to infuse. So I've had this tea on the go. Now if you have not got your tea on the go, if you're sitting there with boiling water and a tea bag ready to go, that is fine. It is fine. What I would say is take your tea bag and drop it in and let the boiling water and everything infuse. I assume those of you that are actually doing this with us have already done this, have already infused it. So I wonder if I can show you. Can you see? I'm not sure if you can even see there, but mine is a sort of red berry, blueberry mix there. You'll see the colour when it comes out. Now I did this earlier on today. You can do it the day before. I would say infuse it and chill it. But if you are doing it boiling water right now and you're doing it hot, it's fine because we can still make this work. Trust me, we can still make this work. Now the other thing you need to do when you are infusing your tea is to get some rosemary in there. Now I use rosemary actually fairly frequently in cocktails. Two reasons for that. One is it is incredibly fragrant and it adds a different dimension to your cocktails. The other reason is we grow it just here, right outside, about 10 feet from where this camera is, just behind the camera, we grow it. And I've got loads of it. So while it's there, I'm thinking, how am I going to use this? So I will be taking some of this fresh rosemary. I mean, obviously I've already infused this, but just showing you how it works. And drop some of that in there. And I would just let that infuse. And that's why it's also okay to use the dry stuff, because if you're infusing it overnight or for an hour or two, it will start to saturate and it will release its oils. But fresh I think is best for the immediate aroma, but dry is pretty good. So we will have let that infuse. Let me get another spoon. I'm just going to stir that around. So I've got here my tea and the rosemary going. Again, don't worry if it's hot. Don't worry if it's hot. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a mixing glass. Now I'm only going to take a mixing glass because I want you to see what I'm doing. But you can do all of this in the teapot. Or if you're not using a teapot and you're using a bowl, you can do that. But you can do it in the teapot. I just want you to see what I'm doing. So I'm going to take my strainer for now because I want to strain any bits out of it. And you can see the colour of the liquid. So you can see that what I've got here is a sort of red berry tea. Let's move that to the side and just pop that there. Now I want to add some of these ingredients. So lime juice again, and lime really cuts well. I'm only using half of this lime, unlike for the last cocktail that we did. And I'm keeping a little slice of the lime for the garnish. So I didn't actually do that in front of you, but what I've done is I've cut this little wheel. Now I'm keeping that for the garnish, and then what I have here is my half of lime, where I'm going to take my squeezer. And by the way, if you don't have one of these amazing squeezers, then all you have to do is get a spoon. So you can get a spoon or a fork, like I could take that spoon, and I could just push the spoon into there, and that will help me get the juice out of that lime. Or a fork, you can do the same thing. So let's give that a squeeze, and we've got a nice little bit of citrus going into that as well. So we've got subtle flavours. We've got the subtle flavour of the tea, we've got the aromatic flavour and aroma of the rosemary, and now I've added a little bit of lime. And if you want it more citrusy, then you can do the same thing. You can add more citrus juice to it. And now we need to add some sweetness, so honey, and I would say add what you want. I like it to be relatively sweet. So I'm putting in about 10 ml of that, if you don't want it as much. And also, I guess it depends on the type of honey. If you're not using runny honey, but using some of the thicker stuff, then you might actually want to shake this drink. And that will help you break down the honey and help you mix it. But I don't want to shake this drink, so I'm using this really runny stuff. So I've got now my honey, my tea, I've got the aroma from the rosemary, we've got some lime in there. Of course, now what we want is our whiskey. So let's take the whiskey, I will measure that out as well. So let's get that. Again, I like to have a bit of strength in my cocktails. So I'm going to put 40 ml of the whiskey, and you can up that a little bit higher if you want. Now let's just imagine for a second that you've been doing all of this with hot tea. Now what works beautifully, even with boiling hot water, is if you take a lot of ice very quickly and throw it in, it will immediately chill it. And then you can start stirring it. So the idea now is to get your ice and get it in there, but not 2 or 3 cubes. You want to get a lot of ice in there if it's hot. If it's not so hot, you don't need as much ice, but I'm just going to whack in a load of ice very quickly. And in doing so, I'm going to take my spoon and I'm going to start to stir. And even if that was hot out of the kettle, I will tell you now, that will be a cold drink. And that's why you can do this at a moment's notice. So I would recommend you infuse it in advance, but if you can't and you're working with hot water, that's how you can make it work. Oh, we're good. And now we are getting ready to serve. Now, I know that I'm using all sorts of specialist glassware and cocktail equipment, but just go with what you want. If you're going to put this into a teacup, fine. If you're going to put it into a mug, brilliant. If you put it into a paper cup or a plastic cup, all good. I'm really happy with that because at least you are mixing stuff and you're starting to experiment and you're not just limiting yourself to what's in the bottle and what you think you should be mixing it with. Cheryl said, Elbow, absolutely. They sell them at Urban Bar. Yes, Urban Bar, where you can get discount from them very soon. Simon, oh yes, the good old Monkey's Elbow. I infused my rosemary with the tea. Brilliant. That's what I was hoping to see. So I am going to take this nice little number. This is a sort of retro 1920s style deco glass. It's one of that series ones that our sponsor, Urban Bar, gave us, which is kind of cool. I love these old glasses. And I'm going to serve this drink over crushed ice. So I got some crushed ice here, and I'm going to fill up my glass with crushed ice. You can't see what I'm doing, so I should poke my head back in here. But I just want to get a load of crushed ice into my glass, and now I'm back in the frame. Then we're going to take our strainer. Where are we for strainers? There we go. And I'm going to strain this wonderful mixture over the crushed ice. This is starting to look rather beautiful. There we go. And you can see actually I've got enough for another 2 or 3 of those drinks, so I'm feeling quite happy about that. Then I'm going to take my lime wheel and I'm just going to pop that on the top like so. And then finally, and the reason why I kept that back, that's the rosemary, that's the sort of top end of the sprig that I have. I'm just going to give that a little tap, and that little tap on the back of my hand actually is releasing those rosemary oils incredibly. Really amazing. Take that, you can see that I stripped the stalk, just showing you there. So I'm going to pop the stalk in down the side so the rosemary hangs over the side of the glass. And that is what I call, let me just make sure I get the name right. There is a reason why I want to make sure, because I've got a habit of mispronouncing it as well. Is what I call a spring fruit tea. Cheers. What I like about this is it is so refreshing. It almost doesn't taste like alcohol at all. So if you were serving this up, I don't know, sunny summer afternoon in sunny California or wherever you happen to be, honestly, I think you could serve this to your guests without them even knowing that it had alcohol in it. It's clean, it's light, it's refreshing, it's not overbearing in any sense whatsoever. Of course, the only problem is that people wouldn't realise that they're drinking alcohol, and before you know it, they're absolutely hammered. Maybe that's not a problem at all now I think about that. Okay, what else have we got going on? Now remember the deal. This is the deal that we have, and some of you have been doing this and some of you have not been doing this, so I'm quite keen that we get more of you to do this. If you are making this and you're making this with me or you're making it afterwards, please send me your photograph. So we've had, I think last week we ended up with about 2 or 3. The week before we had about 5 or 6. So send me your photograph of your drink. It doesn't matter whether it's in a nice little glass like this or whether it's in a paper cup, like I said before. Just send me a picture and we will put our Facebook page. It's all part of us being a sort of joyous Dream Whiskies cocktail mixing community. How do you send it to me? Just send it to me through Messenger. And then I will pick it up, or you can email me. You've all got my email address, so you can send it to me at Dream Whiskies. But easiest way is through Messenger, and I will put you up on the site, and I will show your drinks because hey, I quite like to see what you guys are doing. What's it here? Looking pretty. Cherry cherries going on there. Looks great. Are all of those books cocktail books? What, these books behind me? Jess, is that what you're asking? Just clarify what you're asking, if that's what you're asking. I'm not entirely sure what you're asking. Sorry, by the way, it makes it sound like I have no idea what I'm talking about, but I just need to make sure because I know Jess, so we just need to find out what she's asking me. Okay. Questions, yes. So we've come to the last question now in our Geek of the Week. You should have 9 answers to 9 questions. I've got the 10th one, and once we've asked the 10th one, we're going to find out exactly how we're going to identify this week Whiskey Geek of the Week. I'm actually thinking we should be saying things like Whiskey Geek of the Week, like Michael Buffer or something like that. Question 10, here we go. Are you going to be on our site? We'll find out. We'll find out. Question 10, which whiskey distillery produces the following? The Elgin Classic Collection, the Elgin Heritage Collection, the Elgin Reserve, and the Elgin Prestige. Which whiskey distillery produces that range of whiskies? You should now have 10 answers to 10 questions. And to find out which of you is going to be our Geek of the Week, you're going to have to answer one final question, and you're going to have to put your answer in the comments box. And if you are the first with the correct answer, you will be our Geek of the Week. Before I ask you that, Jess is saying yes. Well, they are mostly cocktail books over there. And behind me, they are a combination of cocktail books and drink books. And over there, you might be interested to know, half a dozen of those books are my books, actually. So thanks for the question. Drink up, Paul, says Nikki. Well, why not? That sounds like a good idea. I actually feel like that's healthy. I think the more of those I drink, the healthier I become. Bruce is saying both of mine turned out very good. Rose flavoured and kiwi strawberry. Liking that. Interested to know how much sugar you put in that, Bruce. Don't forget to send me some pictures. He's off. Bruce, what's that? You could sure use an Islay whiskey for that. Listen, Bruce, knock yourself out. Interested to know how any of those whiskies will sit with it. I'm obviously not using Islay tonight, but if you want some of that peachy smokiness to come through, then sure. Gary, what you're saying, kiwi and strawberry sounds nice. I agree, absolutely. I don't even know how many drinks I got on the go tonight. I could have had more if my wife hadn't stolen one of them. Which was Sherry's birthday cocktail. Right, here we go, everyone. 10 answers to 10 questions. However, each one of those answers has something in common with each other. All 10 have something in common with one another. What is it that they have in common? The first person to tell me what they have in common becomes this week's Whiskey Geek of the Week. Okay, real quick, Nikki's saying she missed question 1. Question 1. Let me give you question 1. I said, which whiskey produces a release called 14-year-old Caribbean Cask? Simon, does this drink count your 5 a day? This is your 5 a day. Not part of it, it's your 5 a day. If you want to have 5 of them, even better. What's this? Bob said G's. No, that's not what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for the 5 G's, but you're on the right track. What? Oh, it's already there. Diran said it. Speyside was what I was looking for. Speyside is the answer. Each one of these distilleries stroke whiskies is a Speyside whiskey. I'm going to quickly go through these for all of you so that you know. Got it? Scottish, thank you very much. I've got Highland malts. I'll deal with the Highland thing in a second because there's sometimes some all Scottish again. The letter Scottish. No, joking, okay. Speyside, yeah, okay, you got it. 5 Glens. Now, I knew what you were saying, Bob, but was looking for more than that. So Speyside was the answer, which means Darren, you are our Whiskey Geek of the Week. If you don't already know this, what you need to do is after this broadcast, as quick as you can, take a photograph of yourself with a whiskey, send it to me so that I can then put that up on our site, citing you as this week's Whiskey Geek of the Week. Congratulations to you. Here, just so you all know, these are all Speyside whiskies. In other words, Speyside being a very particular region, producing region in Scotland, actually where the vast majority of whiskey distilleries are, I have to say. Here we go, these are the answers. Question 1, I said, which whiskey produces the 14-year-old Caribbean cask? Balvenie. By the way, if you got all 10 of these, let me know. Don't lie, just tell me how good you are that you actually got all 10 of these. So that was Balvenie. Question 2, which distillery released the experimental series, including Project XX or Project 20? And that is Glenfiddich. Question 3, which whiskey was nicknamed the Beast of Dufton by David Broom? And that was Mortlach. Mortlach. That was number 3. Question number 4, which whiskey distillery produces the Fag cask range? And that is Glenfarclas. Now, I'm just going to very quickly say, if you look on the label of Glenfarclas, it will say Highland whiskey. But that goes back to the earlier days when Speyside, if you go back far enough, Speyside was considered to be part of the Highlands, or many of the whiskies that were produced in the Speyside region were considered to be originally Highland whiskies. So that's where the confusion is, just in case you're wondering, but these are all Speyside whiskies. Question 5, which whiskey distillery produces the exceptional single cask range? Well, that is Macallan. Excuse me. I think I need another drink just to clear my throat. Loving that whiskey sour, that salted caramel whiskey sour. Question 6. Which whiskey distillery was the first to be pioneered by a woman? It was Helen Cumming in 1811. That is Cardew. Cardew. Question 7. Which whiskey produced a 13-year-old Halloween edition in a white bottle? That was Glenrothes. Question 8. Which single malt whiskey distillery has been mothballed 3 times? That's 1911 to 12, 28 to 47, and 2010 to 13. And now they mainly produce blends like Famous Grouse, J&B, and Cutty Sark. That is Tamdhu. That is Tamdhu. Question 9. Which whiskey distillery produces the release called Abuna? That is Aberlour. And finally, question 10. Which whiskey distillery produces the Elgin range? So Elgin Classic, Heritage, Reserve and Prestige. That is Glenmoray. 10 whiskey distilleries, all in Speyside. Darren is our Whiskey Geek of the Week. Congratulations to you. But just tell me, if any of you got all 10 of those, really impressed. Really impressed. All right, where are we? Okay, so we're getting close towards the end of this. Remember, if you've got any of those Mix With Me cocktails, give me a photograph, send it to me. We've come to the point where I now do the VIP spot prize competition. So this is for members. You can play for fun if you want, but don't put the answers down here, please. And let me just show you the prize this week. So last week, won by Bob, was this malt whiskey tea. I love this tea, honestly. Just love this. So like the Walt Disney, but malt whiskey. Good. And this week, what we have is this fabulous Malt Whiskey Companion, this book by Michael Jackson, not Michael Jackson the singer, Michael Jackson, the beer hunter, whiskey chaser, as he was known. You can win it. You have to be a member. If you're not a member, sign up, become a member, get all the wonderful benefits of being a member. You have to be a member. You go over to our site. As Barry will tell you, I haven't updated the questions yet. I'll do that after the broadcast. But I have 4 questions for you based on tonight's broadcast. You have to go to the site, click the link in the description and go and answer the questions, and you could win this book next week. So here we go. Question number 1. These are 4 questions for the spot prize. Question number 1. That first cocktail was a birthday drink for a friend. I mentioned her name many times. I want to know what her name was. What was her name? Remember, this is multiple choice when you get to the website, so you can pick from 3, but what was her name? What I can tell you is she wasn't here, and she didn't say it. Question 2. What garnish did I use for the salted caramel whiskey sour? So when I say garnish, I mean what goes on top of the cocktail at the end. What garnish did I use for the salted caramel whiskey sour? This drink, which is almost no more. In fact, yeah, just about to say goodbye to that. When this broadcast is done, I think I'm going to mix another one of those. Question 3. What whiskey was I drinking tonight? So what was the whiskey I had on the go when I toasted you as well? And question 4. What was the name of our Mix With Me cocktail? 4 questions over on the site. You know how it works. Just click multiple choice very quickly. Who was the birthday cocktail produced for? What garnish did I use for the salted caramel whiskey sour? What was I drinking tonight? And what was the name of our Mix With Me cocktail? So we find ourselves towards the end of our broadcast. Please look out for my email and posts for the charity whiskey mix-off that I'm doing on my other channel. Please join us, come along. Actually, it's going to be much faster than this, so I'm going to be making 26 different cocktails in 26 minutes in aid of Parkinson's UK. I don't think I even mentioned that. I'm raising money for Parkinson's UK, and come along. And if you want more information about it, there's a link right at the bottom of the description of this broadcast, but I will be sending you some information by email, so please look out for my email on Sunday. Open it up, click the link, sit there for half an hour, get yourself, drink your cocktail in the time it takes me to mix 26 different ones. Hope you've had a great evening. As ever, it is a delight to have Deering. Make sure you send me that photograph. Deering got, by the way, Kaz got 9. Oh, Barry, yes, but I cheated. That's what I like to see. Does Gilling count? I think it definitely counts as cheating. Deering saying, really like the t-shirt. Can we get our hand one? You can, if you want to buy one. Or you can win a competition, of course. Raymond Tasty, my favourite whiskey sour. Looking forward to Sunday. Thank you, Nikki. Gary, Urban Bar, Paul. Oh, yes, Urban Bar. Didn't I already say that? Yeah, I think I said that, but thank you for reminding me. So just very quickly, get over to the Dream Whiskies website. You will see that now, as a member, you're going to start getting fabulous discounts on all fabulous equipment over at Urban Bar. The information is all there, and I will make that live probably in the next week, I think. Cheryl saying, before you go, can you confirm all the books on your shelves are yours? What, like show? Okay, what do you want me to show the books? Do you want to see the books? Okay, I'll show you my books. Right, here we go. Can you see? I know I'm out of shot at the moment, but I'll just show you some of my books. So, my background is cocktails, for those of you that don't know or didn't work it out, but so this is one of my books. Here we go. 101 award-winning cocktails by me. That's Paul Martin. This is one of my other books. This is the World Encyclopedia of Cocktails. Also by me. That's a picture of me when I was, well, I'm going to tell you, I was half the age that I am now when that picture was taken. But kind of cool leaning up against the shaker like that. So that was World Encyclopedia of Cocktails. This was another one of mine, the Mammoth Book of Cocktails. Lots of cocktails. This is a book which is not really about cocktails, it's about bartending. So it's more of a professional book, but I kind of like the cover. It's called Ultimate Bartending. It's about the psychology of communication and service. I do some serious stuff as well. Here's another one of mine, 2,500 cocktails. And there's 2 or 3 others as well. If you like the books, go to Amazon and buy them. Send them to me and I'll sign them for you as well. Okay, so we're pretty much done. Thank you for joining us. It's been a pleasure as ever. Sunday, Mix the Cocktails Bartender Training for the trip. Thank you for that, Jane. Jane's just put a link in for Sunday 1. Do join us. I know I keep saying it. What's that? In 1 minute flat each. Yes, that's right. 1 minute for each. So, but if I was doing them without talking, I'd probably do 2 or 3 in a minute. But I'm going to talk and make them, but one in, a minute for each one. Wow. Even stronger. Say that with 26. Join Sunday. Thank you for being here. This great fun. Keep well. Stay safe. And I will see you either Sunday or next Wednesday. Be good.